Hi. Reminds me when we went to see Francisco Agavea and the guy was playing the bongos.
Oh.
That was interesting. If I'm very quiet, I can come up and you be playing.
You got to understand that that quintessimo heartbeat.
Yes.
When it grabs you,
There you go.
you holler, yes indeed.
Yes, yes. All right. All right, gotcha. Glasses. Okay. All right. No.
Glasses shaking. These are
Glasses.
glasses.
Okay, your glasses. All
Okay,
right.
here we go. We're on to chapter 18, I believe.
No, in chapter 19. You read 18 yesterday. But you have to.
I'm wrong and you're right.
All right.
I don't care. Because somebody's got to be right.
Well, we're on the right page. That's the important thing.
I'm going to start on chapter 19 and go through chapter 19 to chapter 20.
Whoa. Okay.
So here,
All right.
now.
Give it to me. Give it to me. Give it to us.
Listen to you over there.
Yes. That's me.
Okay, friends and neighbors, the story thus far has taken us into a whole bunch of shit. And I'm not going to try to recap a lot of it because it's not recapable.
This is
But
true.
what we have to understand is that we're into like maybe a second generation of understanding what happened to the first generation.
Yeah, I see.
What happened? Well,
Find out.
you go back to that. I'm going to keep moving forward.
Forward we go.
Let's start off with little Kofi. My first trip to Ghana, to Africa, to the motherland. I don't think I had a full night's sleep for a week before my trip. For those who are of African American descent, got to go with me on this one. You know how you feel when you think about, oh my God, this is not ancestry, blood relationship time and so forth.
No.
This is going back to my motherland. This is where my ancestors came from, most of them. I ain't talking about the Polynesians and the Squillinesians and the Englishmen and all the rest of the Poles or whoever. This is where the blood came from. Don't let them lock you out of Africa, Kofi. Don't let them lock you out physically or emotionally. I hope you all are listening to me. I swear to God from my heart. Don't let them lock you out of physically or emotionally.
There you go.
They've been trying to do that to us ever since they brought our people over here. That was something that great-granddad Kwame used to say a lot, and it was definitely backed up by Dad's side of the family. Somebody was always going or coming back, usually from Ghana, because DNA research had determined that Dad's background was Ga and Tree, two of the main tribal groups in Ghana. The research showed that Mom was a descendant of the Fon people from Benin, south of Ghana. Granddad Harvey and Grandmother Minerva weren't very much interested in their African roots. We would rather spend vacation time in France, wouldn't we, Harvey?
Some folks do. Okay.
I heard that. But that didn't stop them from giving me $1,000 of traveler's checks. Enjoy yourself. Grandfather Kofi, Grandma Njinga, my dad and mom had a little going away dinner for me the evening before my departure. What's on your agenda, Kofi? What do you plan to do for a whole month? Well, aside from checking out the snakes,
Aye.
a sly look at Mom and Dad, I'm just going to go with the flow. Good idea, good idea. Remember what happened to your Aunt Rose and Aunt Afia when they went over there last year? Both of them came back sick, trying to run all over the place and do everything. Go with the flow. That's the way to go. The next day, I was on British Airways heading for a day's stopover in London, a half-hour stopover in Kano, Nigeria, And finally, Kotoko Airport, Accra, Ghana, for a month in the motherland.
Ah, I see.
Takes months to get there, but seems like all of a sudden you're there.
Hours, not months, but
Hours.
okay. But it seems like
Hours
months.
seems like months.
Yeah, it does. Okay.
I call them thoughts in the air, the thoughts I had during the 18-hour trip, thoughts about the slave trade, African diaspora. What would have happened if we had simply been left alone? What would Africa be today? Thoughts about African-American relations. Some Africans think, no matter how poor their countries are, that they're superior to African Americans. Well, not so much as it used to be. Africans in the diaspora, because we only have the country we were transported to. Thoughts about how strange it felt to be going back to some place you had never been, that was your motherland. Thoughts about things that his folks had talked about. Kofi, remember, as weird as it may sound, lots of Africans are still divided, have tribal mindset modes. No, not in the 21st century. You read the newspapers, the magazine articles, the books. There are a group of people over here who would like to get at the people over there. Now, don't get me wrong. That seems to be a worldwide phenomenon, a worldwide situation. The Irish Catholics against the Irish Protestants, the Shiites against the Sunnis, the Northerners against the Southerners, those over here against those over there for some unknown reason. I guess it's just a little harder to bear because these are our people, and we want them to have better lives, lives without violence, war. I remember a Nigerian brother telling me one day after one beer too many, you guys were forced to become Americans. That solved your tribal differences. We are still burdened with ours. You think a little latter-day transcontinental slave trading would help you out? Oh, Kofi, you're a terrible man, terrible. Kotoko Airport, Accra, Ghana.
Yes.
Every one of my family members who had been there had given me an idea, a perspective, a vibe, a feeling, but I don't think any conscious African American could ever describe the emotions we are released when you step onto African ground for the first time. What with all of the chaos of people seeming to go in every which way, I felt completely cool. I was at home. Outside the terminal, the taxi drivers swarmed on the newly arrived like locusts. I am called Kwame, he said very quietly. That was my great-grandfather's name, I told him. And Brother Kwame became my official driver for the whole time I was in Ghana. I had 2 pieces of luggage, a small bag and a slightly larger bag. I had traveled enough with Mom and Dad to know better than to burden myself with a lot of unnecessary stuff. It was humid at twilight and the sky glowed with pastel colors. And where do you want to go, sir? I want to charter your taxi for 2 hours just to drive around, and then you can take me to the Greenleaf Hotel in Osu. Brother Kwame looked across the space separating us in the front seat. You have been in Ghana here before, this time? No, this is my first time. But members of my family have been here and they've given me good information. Why do you ask? Because you say, sir, to charter my taxi. Maybe it was my great-grandfather speaking. He smiled, one of those beautifully open smiles, nothing phony about him at all. We bonded. He looked to be about 40 or so, and I could tell from the exchanges he made with the other taxi drivers that he was a regular. I was surprised to see how close the airport was to central Ghana. I could have walked downtown in an hour. Brother Kwame drove me to Labadi Road, 100 yards east of the ocean. That way leads us to Teshinungwa, very nice. The other way leads us to Jamestown. Not nice, not nice at all. He was a perfect tour guide. He pointed with his chin and said whatever seemed appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
This is Ring Road East. It goes through Accra. If you go this way, you will be in a neighborhood called Adraka. There are many wicked clubs and women in Adraka.
Okay. Nice.
Up the hill from Dankwa Circle in Labone, very nice. The opposite way is Osu. Osu is poor, but I better than Labone. Why? Because the people saw, because of the people. This is the Labadi Hotel, very nice, very expensive. This is the Novotel Hotel, also very nice, very expensive. And the Golden Tulip, very, very expensive. It would be hard to say where we didn't go within my 2-hour charter time. I didn't realize that until I had been in Accra for a couple, 3 days, and realized I had some idea of where I was.
Hmm.
And at the end of the day, as I must have heard a dozen times a day, Brother Kwame eased up into the circular courtyard of a beautiful little 3-story building, and with a green leaf carved above the door, Green Leaf Hotel style. Very nice, very, not very expensive. Mr. and Mrs. Latte welcomed me as though they had been expecting me. Ah, Mr. Kofi Brown, your room is 301. The boy will take you there. Utilitarian room in a cinder block built hotel. A bed, a chair, a table, spacious but not grand, and not expensive. I was satisfied. I came down to pay Brother Kwame. Sir, you are on to some serious business in Ghana here. I will be your driver. No questions about it. Brother Kwame was going to be the man who took me around Ghana. Do you know where Chito is? Sir, my grandfather was born near Chito. I know it well. Good. Give me a couple of days to settle in here, get the lay of the land. You say, I'm going to just check, I'm just going to hang out, just wander around Accra for a couple of days and check things out. I see. So I will collect you when you have the lay of the land.
It's a quick study. Okay.
I like that. The dude was sharp, alert. Yeah, a couple of days ought to give me enough time to get the lay of the land. So, just there, down this road is, just there, down this road is the country kitchen, a good place to eat. I dashed him a few thousand more cedis for his info about where to eat. Very important for the traveler anywhere to know where to eat. So I will collect you on Thursday morning. You will charter? Yes, I will charter you for a trip to Chito. Cool? Chito? Yes, my grandfather. Okay. See you about 10 a.m. on Thursday. If you're not here by 11 a.m., I'll have to charter another driver. Dad has been very clear about this. Kofi, don't fall in love with people you want to do things for you. Sometimes they will do exactly what you expect them to do, what you want them to do, and then at other times, the exact opposite will happen. Don't become dependent on anybody just because you like them. 10 a.m. Thursday morning. I will be here, sir. Great. See you then. The country kitchen. I was ravenous by the time I strolled 3 blocks of gutted streets. It was night, and the humidity was forcing droplets of sweat to flow from my armpits to my wrists. The country kitchen loomed up like a mirage. It was a huge thatched hut, open on all 4 sides so the breezes, whenever they came, to blow through. Beautiful idea. Yes, sir, I am in the room. I will serve you. I was beginning to trip on the formality of the scene, this sob business. I took a well-disguised look at Emerald. 38, 25, 38. An emerald? No, more like a diamond in the rough. I I have the lobster and fried rice and an ABC lager beer. She brought the well-chilled ABC to me 5 minutes later, and 20 minutes later she swiveled back to my table to tell me, the lobster is finished, sir. I knew what she meant by that, but I couldn't resist joking. How can it be finished? I haven't had any of it yet. She simply stood in place, obviously immune to my flirtatious humor. Oh, well, I checked out the menu again. Do you have number 5? The shrimp fried rice with okra? Yes, sir. A bright smile canceled out all of my negative thoughts. I'll have that and another ABC, please. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. No, sir. It gave me an odd feeling to have someone my age. Emma looked at least 21, or even older brother Kwame, the taxi driver, say, yes, sir. Yes, sir. But Mom and Dad had prepped me pretty well on this one. Ghanaians are very polite people, Kofi. People don't talk loud, and they're not demonstrative the way we tend to be. You won't see any hugging and kissing everywhere, not even amongst the young people. Basically, I'd have to say people are more conservative. You won't see or hear a whole bunch of stuff you've been used to hearing and seeing until they revolt. 10 p.m. The waiters and waitresses were clearing off the tables, time to return to the Greenleaf Hotel. He walked slowly, carefully down the rutted road, bordered on each side by drainage ditches. Where it was dark, it was inky dark, and where there was light, it was soft and dim. Good evening, sir. Oh, good evening. I'd spoken to someone I couldn't even see. Back in 301 at the Greenleaf, he showered in tepid water that dribbled from a shower head and sprawled on his bed, covered by a sheet, the only cover needed in this rainy season heat. He lay there thinking, listening. No loud sounds, no drive-by audio assaults, no sirens, just the soft sound of voices now and then. He drifted off to sleep with a smile on his face. I'm in Africa. Well, I'm going on to chapter 20. That was chapter 19, right?
Thank you, yes, thank you.
So right after 19 is 20.
Yes, sir.
Well, if I didn't drift off to sleep with a smile on my face, I definitely woke up with a smile. Someone was singing. Beautiful, clear contralto. A female voice that was almost a baritone. I couldn't understand the words, but it was a happy song. It sounded like one. I tiptoed to the door. It was coming from the hallway. I opened the door just as the singing maid was pulling the sheet from the bed of the room across the hall. She looked up startled and stopped singing. Oh, sorry, sir, I didn't mean to annoy. You're not annoying me. You have a beautiful voice. Don't stop singing. I closed the door on an expression that was a mixture of shyness, puzzlement, and delight. But she had stopped singing. Oh, well. My room had a large whirlybird fan in the ceiling which kept the air reasonably cool, but I could look out of the window at the glistening, sweating faces of people trudging up and down the road in front of the hotel to see that it was hot out there. Good morning, sir. You slept well? Like a top. You say, I slept well. Have to watch that. These little Americanisms that I've never paid any attention to. The expression that made people say, you say. He stood at the side of the road in front of the Greenleaf Hotel watching the people and an occasional car pass, trying to make up his mind about where to go and what to do. The country kitchen, of course, a nice breakfast, and let the flow begin. Once again, he walked down the rutted, sewage-arranged bordered road, He was struck by the smiles returned his way, by the fact that no one was trying to hustle. If this were Tijuana, Chicago, or New York, I'd have people clinging to me by now. Kofi, the Ghanaian, is a funny kind of being. They're very warm, outgoing, and friendly. But they have a long tradition in trade, so they will never hesitate to try to get the better of you in a deal. Beware.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Mom. Gotta remember that. The country kitchen wasn't open yet. No hour was posted. He gathered this info from a tall, dark man passing by with a briefcase under his arm, obviously a bureaucrat or a businessman. Excuse me, sir, can you tell me what time the country kitchen will open? The man studied his watch for a few seconds. Oh, they will be open at 11 or so. You're waiting, you're wanting your chop, yes? Huh? Who told me that the Ghanaians didn't have a pigeon like the Nigerians, for example? Yes, I want to have breakfast here. So, 'tis night-ish now. You can wait for 2 hours more, or you can come with me for wachi.
Okay.
I didn't give it a second thought. My stomach suddenly started rumbling. Okay, I'll go with you. And down we went into the main stem of Osu, called for some reason Irene. My name is Andrew Obaje, Kofi Brown. You're an American. He said it with such a definite sense of being correct, Kofi felt no need to argue for African American. Yeah, I'm American. I have to write Mom and Dad about this. The first time in my life I've ever been called an American. There was a surge of people on the broken sidewalks that went back and forth. Many people going one way or the other, but not one was Russian, he noticed.
Mm-hmm.
This is what we call Osu. Mr. Wachi led him to a snack stand on the busy corner. They had excellent wachi here. Kofi took instant notice of the open drainage 10 yards away from the wachi stand. So what is wachi anyway? Mr. Wachi laughed. Oh, ha ha! We don't know what wachi is. I'm sorry. That's okay. Just tell me what it is. Mr. Wachi turned from his question to place his order. You will see. The man placing black-eyed peas and rice on a small banana leaf asked, egg, spaghetti, pepper? Mr. Abuaji nodded enthusiastically. Kofi simply stared at the pile of peas and rice on the banana leaf. Black-eyed peas and rice mixed, a bit of spaghetti, a boiled egg, and a large dab of homemade chili on the side. Cheetor. Mr. Abuaji paid. Please allow me, Mr. Brown. No, thank you, Mr. Abuaji. Wachi. It was good. No sign of meat in the mix at all, and it cost only a tenth of what he would have paid for breakfast at the country kitchen. But the proximity of the drainage ditch bothered them. The wachi stand owner gave him a small finger bowl to wash his hands with after the meal. Medase. Mr. Abuaji thanked the man. So, how long will you be in Ghana here, Mr. Brown? I have a month. Well, as we say, Akwaba. Welcome. Here's my card. I must be off. Kofi shook hands with his benefactor and studied the card. Henry Abuaji, barrister. 264 Abresim Way, Accra, Ghana, specialist in import-export law. Nice guy. Export-import. Better keep this. It might come in handy. He meandered down the street, checking out the people and the scene. Wow. If it weren't for the colorful clothing, the women's head wraps and all, it could be the west side of Chicago or Watts during one of our festival days. A barbershop, yeah, exactly what I need, a haircut. Mainly men barbershop. It could have been a barbershop on Crenshaw, except that the sport pictures on the walls were of soccer players. And one spectacular photo of Serena Williams whacking a tennis ball. Kofi noticed that there was a subtle change of language from God, tree, to slightly British English. Oh my God. That's a nice thing to do. So, my brother, how is it? The barber, a short version of Snoop Dogg, offered him the finger-clicking West African handshake. Kofi felt surprised that he was able to do it. Everything is everything, he replied, recalling an ancient piece of music by the late, great Donny Hathaway. Everything is everything, the barber repeated after him, and suddenly his hair was horseshoed by the usual, his chair was horseshoed by the usual suspects who hang out in the barber shop. They wanted to talk with him, get to know the latest American slang. Everything is everything.
Everything is everything.
Kofi never a great user of slang. Kofi learned how to speak a standard English before he started trying to do patois. Couldn't offer the many linguistic windows to jump out of. Ardent hip-hop fans, they knew the names of more rappers and their stories than he did. What's up with 10 Cents? Did Lil Woo get married to BP Honey? How long have you been in Ghana here? How long will you stay? Are you famous? He strolled out of the barbershop with a haircut style he had never considered before, and the good wishes of everyone in the place. Accra to Ghana. The sun hit him in the face like it was a glare from a furnace. Damn, it's hot out here. 11 a.m., time for a siesta. Dear Mom, Dad, I've spent my first day and a half in Accra, in Osu actually, and I'm loving it. It's about high noon now, and I promised myself I would take a little siesta, but I'm too excited to sleep. The people around me, the vibes, the atmosphere are really intoxicating. I keep telling myself from minute to minute, you're in Ghana, in Africa, where your ancestors came from. Impressions. Everybody's working. I haven't seen any evidence of anybody hang out. People carrying things on their heads are both a delight to see and a mystery. Where does that kind of ability to balance come from? It's a bit startling to say the least to see a man turn to a wall and relieve himself. It's even more startling to see a woman do it. Mom, I know you told me about this, but it's still a surprising sight. Sister is walking down this back street near my hotel, a plait of something on her head, a baby tied to her back. How? And she pauses over the open drain at the side of the road, lifts her long skirt slightly, reaches under to pull the crotch of her panties to one side and lets fly straight down into the drain. Seems that I was the only one to pay attention to this, and I was very discreet. It makes perfectly good sense when you think about it. Where would you go to pee or whatever if there are no outdoor toilets? Relatives. I've had to stop myself from asking half a dozen people, just ordinary people passing by, excuse me, are we related? In this short space of time, I think I've seen a look-alike for every member of our family. I've seen great-granddad Kwame at least twice. I've engaged a taxi driver named Kwame to take me to Chito on Thursday. I hope he shows up. People are quieter on a whole. There's almost none of the loudness that you would associate with a big city. Pleasant to have that kind of atmosphere instead of everybody's cars bumping and thumping.
Nice.
Could I live in Ghana here? That's what everybody says. My emotional reaction is yes. Yes, yes. But my realistic answer would have to be no. Life is hard here, I can see that. When you see little kids pushing pulling, carrying heavy loads in the hot sun. You know they're doing it out of necessity. The people are poor, no doubt about it. But I see a lot of the same kind of fire and joy that I've seen in the ghetto in L.A., New York, Chicago, New Orleans, Mexico City. Going to take a nap now. Preparation to see what the nightlife is like here. Love, Kofi.
Yes.
10 p.m. The Zebra Club. Baby.
Tell me about it.
Kofi stared at the women dancing the electric slide. Never seen anything so beautiful in my life. His eyes roamed through and over a dozen women performing the steps of the dance. Step to the front, shimmy, shimmy to the side, take a back step, work his hips right and left. Beautiful, gorgeous, a new form of tribal dance. Would you care for another drink, sir? You say, listen to me. I'm beginning to sound like one of the waitress' question managed to penetrate the layers of thick, bassy sound that flowed out of the speakers in the Zebra Club. Would you like another drink? Yes, please. He had noticed that people place yes and please together as one word. Yes, please. The Zebra Club in Accra has been recommended by one of the Greenleaf hotel workers. Excuse me, my brother. I'm getting ready to go out and have for a few beers, maybe dance a little bit. Where would you go if you were me? You say, where do you, when you go out to have a few beers and dance? Oh, I go to the Zebra Club in Accra. It's very lively. Big smile and validation. Kofi dashed his informant a few thousand cedis, a piece of advice his father laid on him. Kofi, but don't be careless and foolish, but a little judicious dashing will give you great dividends. What's dashing? You'll find out. He had been in town almost 2 days. Almost 2 days already, and discovered the power of the dash. Brother Roxy's advice, the hotel worker, to go to the Zebra Club in Accra was worth 10,000. What was that? $1. But $1, 10,000 cedis could feed a family of 4 for a day, or more if they stretched the soup a bit. And he could tell from the brother's sincere smile that he had created an ally, maybe a friend. Roxy was right. The place was lively, but he thought in a conservative way. He couldn't detect any of the aggressive flirtation that he would have normally found in one of the Crenshaw night spots, West Los Angeles, the Main Street set in Santa Monica. Men outnumbered the women 3 to 1, but the men were cool. They drank their beers, made eye-to-eye contact with the women on the scene, but there was no hint of frenzy. So far as he could tell, it was definitely a Ghanaian scene. He looked around. I must be the only old Bruni in the house. And that is going to take me to the end of chapter 20.
Wow. All right.
I hope I'm leaving you with just a little sense of, give me more.
Yes, please.
Because that's what it's got to be about. You don't want to have the whole thing right now. So we're going to go on to chapter 21 tomorrow.
Yes, indeed. And we will post 18, 19, and 20.
You know what's tripping me out?
Yes, sir.
Because of the fact that we've been there twice, and you have a sense of, I didn't go as a single man, you didn't go as a single woman. And I didn't go as a young man, and you didn't go as a young woman. But we went as people who could look at the scene and see what was happening and, analyze it.
Yes.
Analyze it.
Yes.
And, that's what I'm making an effort to do here. The guy, 25 years old, going to a place where it's a very conservative scene. I mean, they have places where prostitutes gather. Everybody knows that. They have places where male prostitutes gather. Everybody knows that.
Mm.
Male prostitution is less accepted than female. They think, okay, it's all right for the female and the male, but don't tell me we got, gay men.
Right.
I think they still coping with that,
Right.
but it's not Uganda.
Right.
It's not Uganda.
And miss our friends Susan Amagashi, Rama, Leonard Kennedy, Richard. What was the one?
Okay, our informants.
Yes. What's the one that had the club? Haderman.
Oh, Haderman.
Haderman.
Okay. What an interesting guy. Here we are in Ghana
Yeah.
with a Maori man from New Zealand who was formerly a member of the, I believe it's called the Black Stars rugby team. Big time guy who owned a nightclub in Osu called Cuzzy Bros.
Yeah.
Cuzzy Bros.
Yeah.
Very, very nice guy. We had a good time with him.
Yeah.
Who was being, I think, aggressively pursued by a Ghanaian woman.
Right.
And I think she may have caught him.
She may
too
have. She
soon.
may have caught him indeed. And then there's Kofi, of course.
And then Kofi, the man who was our driver for the period of time we were there,
And you never found Kwame,
never found Kwame.
your former driver.
But I think maybe we will at some point.
Next time.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
But let's go on with the story.
Yes, the story, the book, there we go. The Snake Doctor. Snake Doctor. Give it up. There we go. There we go. Snake Doctor
It's like that.
can be purchased on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Author House, or your local bookstore. Just go in and say, I want a copy of the Snake Doctor by Odie Hawkins. And Odie Hawkins' website is www.odiehawkins.com. And you can Google Odie Hawkins and you will find mucho things to observe, videos and movies he's been in, etc., etc., etc.
Come on with it.
All right.
Come on with
With
it.
that happiness,
Come on with it.
we're looking forward to the next chapter.
Which will be tomorrow night.
Ooh,
Trust me, it's going to be tomorrow night.
looking forward
I'm
to
going
it.
to turn us over into another chapter. It may not be what you think it's going to be,
I
but it's
know.
going to be the next chapter.
I see.
Pow!